All right, yeah. Hello, my finance and accounting guys. I'm not day now, within day. Okay, so today I want to look at something very practical, something that can help you, right? I'm a very practical person. That's how I am, right? I like giving or delivering value by sharing things that can help you grow in your career, right? So let's look at something about interviews today. Yesterday I had someone reach out to me. The person had an interview, right, for a position as an accountant in an organization, and he was looking at, sir, so how do I prepare for the interview? What do I read on and all those things? I know that some people have issues with that, right? So that's why I'm here to just share something very simple and practical that can help you. Now, please, anytime you apply for a job, right? Most times, normally, right, if you apply for a job, you should have like a job advert, right? Or a job post where you saw the application or where you saw the advert and then you applied, right? And so on that job post, you will notice that normally you should have the requirements for the job or what you're expected to do on the job. That is one of the core areas you need to prepare for when you are prepared, where you need to read up on or properly prepare on when you're preparing for an interview, right? So how do you do that? Let's take a practical example. Let's say I'm applying for a role as an accounts payable officer in a big company like that, and I've been invited for an interview. So what do I do? Just very simple. Go to the adverts, right? That's why you should always save adverts or save job ads where you have applied, right? Keep a record of it, because honestly, this is when you get calls for interview, you can easily just go back to that and use that to prepare. So what do? Just go and look at those job descriptions or what they require you to do in that role and start reading up on them. So for example, you'll be required to post journals into the accounting system or accounting software. You'll be required to handle taxes like VAT, withholding tax. You'll be required to come up with reports. You'll be required to use Microsoft Excel. Those are examples of things that you'll be required to do on the job. So what you need to do is go and start reading up or brushing up your knowledge of those things, because especially if it's a very good or a well-structured interview, expect questions on what exactly you are going to do. In fact, like I say, AI has actually made things a lot easier these days. So what can you do with AI is that just copy and paste. Do you get? If you can, or just send it to AI that I have an interview and these are the job description, right? Or these are the things I'm required to do on the job. So please help me come up with things I can read and I can use to prepare for the interview. And trust me, I will just download a lot of things for you and you can start from there. Then if you want to do further research, of course you can do further research, right? So that's one of the very smart things you can do to properly prepare, so that when you get to the interview and they start asking you questions, how do you treat VAT, how do you handle withholding taxes, how good are you with Excel, and they start asking you some of these things, because you are already prepared for it, right? You can better answer questions. So that's one of the ways you can actually properly prepare for an interview. Thank you once again, Adida Malajai.